Alrighty, I suggested an indifferent open. Well, that lasted for about a second. Dow Jones Industrial Average getting whacked pretty good, down 64 points. Well, our next guest says that 2013 is going to be the year of the real estate boom. But with more and more foreign investors buying in this end of the American dream, a lot of people in America not really into it as much as they were. We're going to ask Anthony Lolli right now, CEO of Rapid Realty, the basis for this assumption. Listen, I know housing is better. It feels like we hit terra firma. But there's also a lot of evidence, Anthony, that, Americans aren't buying it. First-time home buyers haven't nudged. This seems more like flippers and speculators, really.
Well, I think the rental atmosphere kind of strengthened up the real estate economy a lot.
Well, you think it would, though, you know? I mean, it's so much more expensive to rent in more states than to buy, and yet people aren't buying in droves. So what's going to change that? Well,
I think that there's more houses on the market that are legitimately on the market. Back in 2007, 2006, there was just an influx of inventory that was not legit. So that it's really a situation where there's more consumer confidence. The banks are really more forthcoming on all the lending instruments that are available to you today. So and on top of that, they're doing other things like offering more home buyer courses that are more extensive.
But what's going to be sort of the inflection? What's going to get people to say, all of a sudden, someone's sitting on the fence? I mean, what do you think really gets that spark going? What sparks this move that you're looking at? Because we're talking about a boom. You really are talking about a big year.
Sure. Serious sellers. I think sellers that are entertaining below asking price offers, sometimes 10 and 20% below the asking price, and they're getting them sold.
I'm just curious, what's going to be your measure that the housing market has bounced back? Because do we really want to see prices return to those pre-housing bubble levels? Because those were artificially propped up.
I like to see mine return there.
Yeah. Well, what I'm noticing is before it would take about 3 years before a person would shop and then eventually buy. Now it's happening within 6 months to a year. So all that is what really kind of raises my eyebrow and see.
We have to point out, this is your business. You're in the business. Yes. You're in, this is what we call talking your book to a certain degree.
Right.
I mean, by the way, have you seen my man's watch? Oh, my God. What is that? The Rolex with the diamond bezel and the pearl?
Yeah.
Business is already good for you. It's already booming.
It's interesting because we grew from 1 location to 60 locations over the past 30 months, and mainly it's because of our outlook on the recession. We grew during the boom, and mainly because we're a rental niche company, but we are booming in sales now all of a sudden.
All right. For the Fed, last week there were some suggestions maybe they'll take away all of this buying and, maybe rates will start to climb. Is there some sort of sense of urgency that you think your industry will be able to pass on to would-be fence sitters to say, guys, make a move now? Because I got to tell you, I watched this and I'm happy about what's happening, although I don't see the boom. I still don't see the boom that you see. Is there something that the industry itself will do to convince people jump in now?
I think the deals are to be had now. And I think you mentioned the foreign investors, private equity, they're snatching up all the great deals. So it's now or never.
Now or never.
I just wonder if that makes for a healthy U.S. housing market when all our buyers are international, stepping in and buying our very cheap houses with a very weak U.S. dollar.
Well, I just think that it's just action-oriented. I think that momentum causes the economy to re-stimulate itself, especially in the housing sector.
Anthony, if we can get the housing market boom like the bling in your watch, we'll all be pretty happy. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, time now for your morning gold report. By the way, Anthony's got most of it on his wrist, but the rest is down $2 right now, $16.46 an ounce.